I'm Paul Robertson. With the ever-increasing demand for Ultra HD technology out there, you may not realise that Kramer now has a range of 12G products for both routing and distribution. Today I'm going to introduce you to 5 new products in the Kramer 12G range, ranging from simple DAs right up to our new interchangeable port routers. Firstly, I'm going to introduce you to 3 new DAs from the range: the VM2UX, the VM4UX and the VM8UX, which are 1 to 2, 1 to 4 and 1 to 8 12G DAs. Now let's take a look at all 3 units, starting on the left. Firstly, there is a 12G 6G light, followed by an HD 1.5G light and an SD light. These 3 lights are to report the incoming data rate of the input signal. The VM4UX and VM8UX have an additional lock light. This is to confirm that the input of the DA has locked onto the input signal correctly. And all 3 units have an additional power light. This is to indicate that a power supply has been connected. Now let's take a look at the back of the units, but before we do, please note that the input is on the front of the VM2UX. As we can see here, on the rear of the units, all the output connectors are present. On the VM4UX, the input is on the left-hand side, whereas on the VM8UX, the input is in the middle. All 3 units have the power connector on the rear. And now I'm going to talk about our new 12G port routers. But before I go into the specifics of the product, let me explain a little bit about what we mean by a port router. Each port can be either an input or an output. Now this gives you massive flexibility because it means, for example, with an 8-port router, it could be a 1 to 7 distribution amplifier, a 7x1 switcher, or even a 6x2 matrix switcher. This gives you ultimate flexibility in applications such as rent and staging or outside broadcasts, for example. Firstly, we had the VS8 UFX. This has been around for a little while now. It's an 8-port 12G router. We produced this to prove the concept of port routing and also the 12G technology. So this is an interchangeable port router, as I said. It will support all SDI signals from standard definition all the way up to 12G and all SMPTE resolutions in between. It provides reclocking and equalization and has a handy web page which you can easily configure the ports as inputs and outputs. It even has the ability to output mute as well via the interface. Looking at the front of the unit, from left to right, first of all we have the 8 port buttons. These buttons are for controlling the ports and switching them. Secondly, we have a take and clear button. This is for confirming or clearing switching selections. Then we have a load and save button. This is for loading or saving any one of the 8 presets that you can save on this unit. The presets are switching and also routing configurations. Then we have an info button which will give you all the system information on the following LCD panel. And finally a lock button to panel lock the front. Now that we've proved both the 12G and port routing technology with the VS8 UFX, we've now introduced a new 32-port router, the Aspen 32 UFX. So here is the front of the unit. As you can see, there are no control buttons on the front, so let's have a quick look at the back. Looking at the rear of the unit from the left, you can see firstly we have 2 power connectors, one primary, one redundant to give you power backup. Just below that there is an RS-232 connector to allow external control, and there just at the top a reset button to allow you to reset IP parameters and port parameters. Then we have the Ethernet port. This again hosts a web page. There's an extremely intuitive user interface which will allow you to configure all the ports and access controls such as output muting and signal routing. Then we have a genlock with a local loop, which again allows you to genlock the router into a house reference, the same house reference which is feeding all your camera and other broadcast equipment, for example. And then we have the 32 assignable ports. As with the VS8UFX, all of these 32 ports are assignable. So this could be, for example, a 31x1 switcher, a 1 to 31 DA, or even a 16x16 routing switcher. All ports are fully equalised and reclocked and will support cable runs of up to 100 metres for 3G and 6G data rates, or up to 80 metres for full 12G. They also support the throughput of ANC data such as teletext, timecode and embedded audio, and there are also 8 presets that can be saved to the unit. For full information on this and all the other 12G products, please visit our website. Thank you for listening.